All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to crack a grammar puzzle that honestly trips up a ton of people. Transitive versus intransitive verbs. It's one of those things that once you get it, really changes how you look at sentences. So, let's just dive right in.
Okay, so let's start with a really simple question. If you hear someone say, "she built," your brain kind of short circuits, right? It's screaming, "built what?" That thought is just incomplete. It's hanging in the air.
Okay, but now, what about this one? She arrived. That's it. 2 words, but it feels finished, totally complete. Nothing seems to be missing. So what is going on here? What's the secret sauce?
Well, the whole answer, it really just lies in the 2 different types of verbs we're looking at. It all boils down to one simple question. Where is the verb's action actually going?
So let's break this down. What's the real difference? Well, it all hinges on this one little thing called the direct object.
Okay, so here's the big picture. Transitive verbs, they have to pass their action along to something or someone else. Think of it like a relay race. They need to hand off the baton. That something is the direct object. But intransitive verbs, nope. They're totally self-contained. The action starts and ends with the subject. They're perfectly happy all on their own.
So what exactly is this direct object we keep talking about? It's just the person or thing that gets the action of the verb. It's the receiver. A super easy way to find it is to just ask what or whom right after the verb. Simple as that.
All right, let's zoom in on those transitive verbs. I kind of think of these as the needy verbs. They always need a buddy, that direct object, to feel complete.
This is just like that first example we saw. It leaves you totally hanging. My father bought, and you're just stuck there thinking, bought what? A car? A sandwich? What did he buy? It's like a mini cliffhanger, right? The action has nowhere to go.
But the second we add that direct object, a bike, boom, the action has a place to land. It has a receiver. My father bought a bike. Everything just clicks. It makes perfect sense.
And here are a bunch of these verbs you're probably using all the time without even thinking about it. Just try saying one of these out loud with the subject. She brings. Brings what? He sent. Sent what? See? They all sound incomplete. They're just begging for that direct object to finish the thought.
Now, just when you thought you had it down, there's a little twist. Some of these transitive verbs are so extra they can handle 2 objects. We call these ditransitive verbs. Di just means 2, so 2 objects. Make sense? So, let's go back to that bike example. My father bought me a bike. Okay, so a bike is still our direct object. That's the thing that was actually bought. But what about me? That's the indirect object. It's the person who benefits from the action. It's the answer to the question, for whom or to whom.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about the other team, the independent, totally self-sufficient intransitive verbs. These guys don't need anybody. They're complete all on their own.
Yeah, with these verbs, the action doesn't get passed along to an object. It just stays with the subject. Think about it. The train arrived. We laughed. The thought is 100% complete. You don't need anything else. Just look at this list here. You can make super simple, totally complete sentences with these. Birds fly. She sits. Done. The action doesn't need to be transferred anywhere for the sentence to make total sense. Okay, but here's a super important point. This is where people sometimes get tripped up. You can absolutely add more words after an intransitive verb, but listen up. They're going to be modifiers, not objects. So in the sentence, they laughed loudly, that word loudly isn't receiving the action of laughing. It's an adverb just telling us how they laughed. Big difference. But of course, because it's English grammar, things are never quite that black and white, are they? A lot of verbs can actually play for both teams. They can be transitive or intransitive. It all just depends on how you use them in the sentence. Just take a look at the verb stopped. If I say, the police stopped the car, well, the action of stopping is transferred to the car. That makes stopped transitive here. But what if I say, the car stopped suddenly? Now the action just stays with the subject, the car. There's no object at all. So here, stopped is intransitive. See? Same verb, totally different roles. Okay, so if verbs can just switch teams like that, how can you ever be sure which is which? Well, I've got a secret weapon for you. It's a really simple trick to figure it out, and it's called the passive voice test.
Here's the rule, and it's a solid one. Only transitive verbs can be turned into the passive voice. Why? Because to make a sentence passive, you have to take the direct object and make it the new subject. So if you don't have a direct object to begin with, well, the whole thing falls apart.
So here's how you do it. Just 3 easy steps. First, find the object in your sentence. Second, try to flip the sentence around and make that object the new subject. And third, if the new sentence actually makes sense, congratulations, you've got a transitive verb. Let's give it a shot.
All right, check out this active sentence. The caller left a message. The direct object here is a message, right? Okay, now let's make that the new subject. A message was left by the caller. Hey, that works perfectly. It makes complete sense. So that's our proof. Left is being used as a transitive verb in this case.
But now let's try it with our intransitive example. They laughed loudly. First of all, there is no direct object here. But let's just try to force it, right? Let's take the adverb loudly and pretend it's the subject. We get, loudly was laughed by them. Yeah, that's just complete nonsense. The test completely fails, which proves that laughed is intransitive.
And that's pretty much the whole story. It really is a simple distinction, but man, it's a fundamental one in grammar. So now you've got this awesome tool, the passive voice test, to help you spot the difference whenever you're writing. So the real question is, how many transitive verbs are you going to spot in your own writing today?